OpenAI feels like a company that has had such crazy success that it's guaranteed to go on to be massive. ChatGPT is like the fastest growing consumer app ever, so it kind of feels like they're destined to become the next Google or Meta. But there's one big problem in the way, which is that they are not making any money. Sure, revenues are growing, but their costs are astronomical. OpenAI is in fact staggeringly unprofitable, and the more they grow, the worse it's going to get. So stick around, because I'm going to show you exactly why OpenAI may be destined to fail. So firstly, it's important to say that making a loss is not unusual. It's very typical for Silicon Valley venture capital funded firms to make a loss for a long time while they acquire lots of users. They then start to monetize those users, and then their profit grows sharply. With Google, for example, once they built their search engine, the incremental cost of getting a new user to use the same thing was actually quite small. But with AI, the costs are much higher for every new user that they bring in. Every query, every image generated, every video generated costs a lot of computation that has to be done via expensive GPUs in even more expensive data centers. AI is super compute heavy, which is why the hyperscalers like Microsoft, Google, and xAI are investing so much money into building out massive data centers. Right now, OpenAI is subsidizing its free users by giving them free access to a very expensive resource, which is compute. This cannot last forever. Making something very expensively and then giving it away for free is not a sustainable business model. Stick with me here, because some of the numbers are insane. First, on that infrastructure spending, building data centers is getting extremely expensive. And while OpenAI is raising money as fast as it can, actually the way that it's raising money in some of these circular financing deals may be more risky than it seems at first glance. So a chip maker like Nvidia, which is selling loads of these GPUs to everybody in the world and has lots of cash on hand, may invest in a company like OpenAI. OpenAI then commits enormous sums to compute capacity that depends on that same company's infrastructure. That does not mean that the demand is fake necessarily, but what it does mean is that the entire ecosystem depends on investor confidence. As long as markets believe that AI revenue will justify all of the expenditure, then the cycle can continue. Capital funds infrastructure, Nvidia's share price stays very high, they continue to sell lots of chips, infrastructure enables better models bring in new customers, and user growth supports later rounds of investment. This all sounds great, and it sounds like a virtuous cycle that will work forever. But if that sentiment changes, OpenAI could find itself committed to an infrastructure race that it can no longer afford. Then there's training. They need to keep up with the likes of Anthropic and Google in terms of the quality of their models. This again requires a huge amount of compute. In 2028, OpenAI projects spending $121 billion on compute power for its AI research. So compared to that kind of massive number, you would assume that they're making loads of money on the other side to fund it. Well, not quite. They're actually making about $2 billion per month, or about $25 billion per year. But what they are doing is projecting that revenue to grow all the way to $275 billion by 2030. But now it's not that clear that that kind of jump is achievable. You've got to remember, OpenAI had a jump on everybody else. They were the first company to really commercialize LLM technology. They are not now the only company making it. In fact, Google Gemini is coming up quickly on the consumer side and has much deeper pockets to fund the next round of models, and of course massive distribution across the whole world, being as they are one of the biggest companies the world has ever seen. Open source models are also improving every day and catching up quickly, especially those coming out of China, which can deliver more efficiently, and so you can get relatively similar results at a fraction of the cost, all via API connections so that developers can build on them. And then finally, Anthropic, the maker of Claude, is now the preferred AI platform amongst enterprise customers. Enterprise customers are, of course, the most likely subset to become profitable anytime soon, because businesses have money to spend on AI and they can see the ways that they can actually use it. your average ChatGPT customer on the consumer side is very used to having Google at their fingertips for free and still has Google at their fingertips for free, including AI results, which are basically as good as what you can get from ChatGPT. And then finally, there is the constant ongoing talent exodus from OpenAI. They are leaving a long trail of angry geniuses in their wake as they move through the world of corporate enterprise. Now, people come and go from companies all the time. That's pretty standard. It's the nature of business. But no company in history has upset quite so many influential, talented people quite so quickly as OpenAI appears to have done. The first and most obvious being Elon Musk, who founded the company with seed money, came up with the name, and then ended up taking Sam Altman to court over the structure and governance of the business. Then there's executives like Ilya Sutskever and Mira Murati, who had very senior positions in the business, who've subsequently left to set up their own companies, citing a deep distrust of Sam Altman. And then, of course, there is Dario Amodei, the founder and CEO of Anthropic. He was previously VP of Research at OpenAI, left to form Anthropic, who then subsequently took the lead in the enterprise AI race. He didn't trust Sam Altman either, and he took a lot of the major talent with him when he left. And with the talent came the revenue growth, which is now much faster at Anthropic than it is at OpenAI. Neither of them are profitable today, but they're in a race to see who gets there first, and currently Anthropic is winning. And with infrastructure scalers like xAI and Google and Microsoft, like I've already mentioned, it could be a winner-takes-all scenario. But what do you think? Am I missing something on OpenAI? Or is Anthropic in fact too strong and Sam Altman is destined to fail? Tell me in the comments. I'll see you next time.